Om Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Satya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam online classes in physics. In the most interesting chapter, force and motion. Just let us recall what we have studied in the previous class. We have discussed in detail about the topic called force and also motion. So all the motion what you see in this universe is all because of force. Maybe due to wind or due to other factors. Is it not? Or if you say the motion of the tides, it is due to gravitational force. Is it not? Or movement of the planets around the sun. Again, it is gravitational force. And you might have heard about magnets. The attraction and repulsion in case of magnets. Have you seen magnets? If you bring two magnets of the same poles, like poles, repel each other. If you bring unlike force attract each other. That is magnetic force. Similarly, you have got electrostatic force and so on. So, due to force, you have motion possible. Also, we have discussed about balanced and unbalanced force. So, it is the unbalanced force which makes the body move or make changes in the motion of the bodies. Is it not? Also, you have seen a property called inertia under the heading called Newton's first law of motion. It is called law of inertia. So, a body continues in state of rest or of uniform motion until and unless it is acted upon by an external force. That is what is called as property of inertia. You will be sitting there until the bell rings. Is it not? So, when the bell rings, that forces you to get up and move. So, similarly, a moving body, by applying brakes, it stops. Or sometimes you can reduce the speed also. Is it not? This is what is called as Newton's first law. Second law states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force acting on it. And it moves in the direction of force. That is a very important formula. F is equal to ma, where m is mass, a is acceleration. F is called as force. And this law is based on what is called as momentum. What is momentum? Momentum is a physical quantity which is measured as a product of mass and velocity. So, first law is based on inertia. Second law is based on momentum. Let us see what is third law. Third law is based on, for every action, there will be an equal and opposite reaction. Equal and opposite. And for example, if you jump from a boat, when you come to the shores and jump from a boat, the force with which you jump is called as action. And due to that force, the boat goes back. That is what is called as reaction. Suppose a teacher praises you. You have done a very good drawing, or you have scored very good marks. That is action. Or if your parents praise you, telling that you have done the cleaning today nicely. You have helped them. Then you will be elated. You feel happy, right? Instead of that, if they scold, of course there will be some mistake again. Should not feel sorry. But a little, your spirits will little go down. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is what is called as Newton's third law. And you also studied about conservation of momentum. Whenever you have a colliding bodies, the momentum before impact is equal to momentum after impact. You can very well see in the case of carom board. So in carom board, you will have pawns. And when you hit it by a striker, there will be movement in the pawns, and hence the momentum also changes. So this is before and after impact. So after impact, suppose you have a body of mass m1, two bodies of mass m1 and m2. When they move with the initial velocity of u1 and u2. What is initial velocity? Starting velocity. Then after impact, if the velocity becomes v1 and v2, what happened to the momentum? So m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2, where m1 and m2 are masses, u1 u2 initial velocities, v1 v2 final velocities. Okay, that is what is called as conservation of momentum. The momentum is said to be conserved if there is no other external forces acting on it. Okay, that is what is called as conservation of momentum. Now let us see some home assignments which you have given last time. Have you worked out? Okay, first one, state Newton's third law of motion. Give 2 examples. Just now we discussed, for every action there will be an equal and opposite reaction. Very famous law. You can think of so many examples for this. Is it not? Try and list out. When you jump from a boat to the river bank, the boat moves in the opposite direction or backward direction. The jumping from the boat is the action. Boat going backward is the reaction. Similarly, during swimming, we push the water in the backward direction. The more you push the water back, the more will be your speed of going, speed of swimming. So the hands will go, you have to push the water backside. As you push the water, your body will go forward. So it is a very good example of Newton's third law. Those who know swimming, they know very well. Wherever they are pushed into water sources, they will never fear. Is it not? But those who don't know swimming will fear. And some cases they drown also. So learn swimming also and apply this Newton's third law there. Now let us see some problems on that. A bullet of mass 25 grams, we call it as M1. So what is 1 kg is equal to? We know that 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. Why you are taking in kgs? That is called System International. So 25 by 1000 gives so much, 0.025 kgs. Mass of rifle M2, 2 kgs. Initial velocity of bullet u1 is equal to 0. Initial velocity of rifle u2 is equal to 0. So you have seen bullet, na? I think most of you may have in your house also. The bullet and the bullet loaded in a rifle, or what you call as gun barrel. It will be very heavy. So here is that problem on that. And by the law of conservation of momentum, velocity of the bullet v1 is equal to 200 meter per second, that is given. You are asked to find a velocity of rifle v2. So this is the law. m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So m1 u1 becomes 0. Why? Because u1 is 0. 0 multiplied by any number is 0. m2 u2 also is 0 because u2 is 0. m1 v1, that is about the bullet. This is about bullet. This is the mass of the bullet. This is the velocity of the bullet. So velocity of the bullet is given to be 200. It is here. This is the mass of the bullet. m2 v2, this is about gun, or you can say rifle. In case of rifle, the mass is given to be 2 kgs. Velocity we don't know. Okay. So this becomes, if you multiply these two, you get 5. This will be 2v2. So keeping 2v2 on one side, bring this side 5, this side become minus 5. So v2, velocity of the recoil of the rifle v2 is equal to minus 5 by 2, that is minus 2.5 meter per second. Why it is minus? Because suppose this is a rifle, when a bullet is fired from this, the rifle will come back. Bullet will go forward. The momentum of the bullet going forward is equal to momentum of the rifle coming backward. In case of rifle, velocity will be less, but mass will be more. In case of bullet, mass will be less, velocity will be more. So product in the two cases became the same. That is what is called as conservation of momentum. Coming to next problem. A rifle having mass of 5 kgs. So m1 is 5 kgs. And a bullet of speed of 250 meter per second. So velocity of bullet is 250 meter per second. If the rifle recoil with a velocity of 1 meter per second, rifle's velocity, then the mass of the bullet you don't know, you have to find out. m2 you have to find out. Initial velocity of both bullet and the rifle will be the same. So by the law of conservation of momentum, m1 u1, as u1 is 0, product will be 0. m2 u2, as u2 is 0, product is 0, is equal to m1 v1. m1 is 5 kgs. m1 is 5 kgs, rifle's velocity, into velocity of the rifle coming back 1 meter per second. m2 you don't know, mass of the bullet, into velocity of the bullet 250. So now if this is 0, we will keep this on one side, 250 into m2 is equal to, bring this side, minus 5 into 1. So mass of the bullet m2 becomes minus 5 by 250, the minus 1 by 50, that is minus 0.02 kg. Here minus 0. Means mass cannot be minus. So what you have to do, you take only positive values. okay, because it is mass. So it becomes 20 grams. 1 kilo is equal to 1000 grams. So multiply by 1000 becomes 20 grams. So for the mass of the bullet only positive values are taken. That's why we are neglecting that minus value. Okay. So this is another homework given. I think you understood. Is it not? By the law of conservation of momentum. Let us see today's topic. You heard a word called friction, right? Where all you use friction? Suppose you are a cricketer and if hit a shot on the ground, what happens? The ball rolls for some distance and stops. Why does it stop? Is there anybody to stop it? Of course, the fielder may come from distance and stop it after some time. But until he comes, it go on, the radiosity go on reducing, right? That is what is called as a friction plays the role there. Which gives the friction there? The ground gives the friction. Is it not? Now you are all sitting there. And what make it sit there? That is friction of your body with the ground. So this friction is a very interesting phenomenon. Let us see what is it. Friction exists between the surfaces of all materials which are in contact with each other. If any two bodies, suppose you rub your both the hands, it becomes hot, right? That is again due to friction. And direction of frictional force is always in a direction opposite to that of motion. So frictional force is opposite to motion. That also you must note. For example, a ball rolling along the ground stops after moving through some distance. Suppose you roll a ball in your room or on a table. It moves for some distance and stops. That is because of friction. A moving car begins to slow down the instant its engine is switched off. So when you switch off or when you apply brake, it comes to rest or it finally stops. That is because of the friction. So there are a lot of examples like this where friction plays an important role. So we shall know some details about friction. There are two kinds of frictions. One is called static friction, another is called kinetic friction. The resistive force before the body starts moving on a surface is called static friction. So a car will be in the shed, that is static friction. You will be standing, it is static friction. When you start moving, it is called kinetic friction. When the car is opened from the shed and when it starts, it becomes kinetic friction. So when a body starts moving on a surface, the friction between them is called kinetic friction. When the ball is in the hands of the bowler, that is static. And when he just leaves the ball and the ball falls onto the ground, then it start moving, right? That is called kinetic friction. There are two factors affecting the friction. One is called smoothness of the surface. Second one is called normal reaction. Reaction of the surface on the box against the action of its weight. Other day we are discussing, it's difficult to move a box with the load, say books or something, than the box which is empty. We use the word there momentum. Is it not? Now the same thing can be applied to friction also. So friction will be more in the case of a body with more weight. So that is what is called as normal reaction. So these are the two factors, and let us do a small activity to illustrate this So there is a very interesting experiment you can also try. So this is the table on which this is what is called as inclined plane. Inclined plane. Why it is called inclined? Inclined because it is kept at an angle. That plane is made up of glass on one surface. It is a wooden rectangular frame, the top of which is glass, and this inclined plane is kept on. There will be a stand here on a horizontal table, and you have to mark here. One mark is to be kept here, and this is called pencil roll. So when the inclined plane is kept at an angle by the help of this stand, and a pencil roll is made to move, it slides on this and comes to this and come to rest at one position. You have to mark the position there. Okay, and this experiment may be tried for another table with a glass. This is a table with glass. Same experiment. Keep the inclined plane slanted and take a pencil roll and keep it on the mark here. Leave it. Because it is inclined, the pencil roll rolls and the distance will be more here in this case. Because it is smooth, glass is smooth in nature. Instead of glass, if you use some sand on the table, if you put some sand, a thin layer of sand, the same pencil roll will be stopping in a lesser distance. Okay, so this is a very interesting activity. You can also try in home. Okay, so same thing is explained here. An inclined plane is set up on the table. A line is to be marked on the top edge of the inclined plane. Now a pencil cell, the cover of the pencil, it is cylindrical nature, is to be held on the line, it will be kept on the line, and it is to be released. The pencil cell is released, it moves down in the inclined plane, continues to move for some distance on the table. The distance moved by the cell is to be noted. So you have to move the distance. The experiment is to be repeated by keeping glass sheet or uniform layer of sand. So what do you observe? In the case of glass sheet, that pencil roll will move to a larger distance than the table with a layer of sand. Why it is like that? Because sand gives more friction than the glass. So what you observe, we will find that the distance covered by the cell is maximum on the glass surface and minimum on the sand. So because sand gives more friction, due to the friction offered by different type of surfaces. You can also try so many examples like that yourself. So here the smoothness of the surface is one of the factors on which friction depends. And also second one is friction depends upon the normal reaction. And what is normal reaction? You have observed that more force is needed to move a heavy box than to move a lighter box. Suppose you have two boxes, you need more force in the case of heavy box. It is so because heavy box has greater normal reaction. So what do you mean normal reaction? Reaction of the surface on the box against the action of its weight. So weight will be acting downwards. And this normal reaction is due to the friction between the box and the surface. So hence the greater frictional force. Thus friction also depends upon the normal reaction. So these are the two factors. One is smoothness of the surface. Second is normal reaction. Okay, these are the two factors on which the friction depends. Okay, and let us see what are the advantages of friction. Lot of advantages of friction. Our standing, walking, running, all this depends on friction. Even putting a nail on the wall is due to friction. So because of friction we are able to walk, run on the floor. The force of friction developed between the soles of our shoes. Soles means what? The bottom portion of the shoes is called soles. And the friction between the soles and the ground helps us to move. You can write with a pen or a paper on the or the chalk on the board. So you can write with a pen on the paper, chalk on the board. All this is possible because of friction only. Okay. So because of friction only we are able to write it. And without friction you could not fix a nail on the wall. Fixing of a nail on the wall is also due to friction. And tires of automobiles are treaded. That means they are not smooth, they are made hard. Do you know what is it called? The process is called vulcanization. Note the word. Vulcanization of rubber. What is vulcanization? Vulcanization means hardening of rubber. How it is made? By adding some substances like sulfur. So rubber is a very smooth substance. It will be made hard by vulcanization. And also that will be what is called as treading. Treading means there will be corrugations. You might have seen tires. Can you name some tires? Yes, Mansfield, one of the tires. There will be a TVS, one tire. Like that, lot of tires are there in the, is it not, market. And they will be treaded. Okay, they are made rough just to have more grip. Tires will get better grip on the ground. Even our shoes also are made such that they should have a good grip on the ground. What that grip means? There is again a question of friction. So this is an example of tire. So this is what is called treading. The tire is made very hard. Not only hard, it is made lot of corrugations, ups and downs, so that it grips on the ground very well. It is very heavy, please note. The tire is very heavy in nature because there will be what is called as this steel body will be there, and there will be a lot of nut and bolt will be there. So it will be very heavy in nature. Now let us see some disadvantages of friction. The opposite of advantage. So due to friction, lot of energy is wasted in the form of heat that causes wear and tear of the moving parts of the machine. In case of machines, when you run it for a long time, for example, you might have seen in the floor machines, there the machine gets heated up. Continuously the floor is being made. You would have taken some wheat, ragi, jawar, etc. for powdering. Is it not? That is called flooring machine. There you have seen there will be a belt connecting the motor to the flooring device. Is it not? So the belt will pass on the energy there. Is it not? So energy, that is electric energy, converted into mechanical energy. And here lot of heat is wasted, lot of energy is wasted because of the heat that is produced. Okay. Secondly, it reduces the efficiency of machines as considerable amount of energy is wasted in overcoming friction. So how to avoid it? They add what is called as grease, or they will add lubricating oil. By adding some lubricating oil or grease, the friction of the machine is reduced. You might have seen in grinding machines, a lot of sound after wear and tear. It's called wear and tear. So when you have to put some grease or this oil, it runs smoothly. So these are the very interesting things which you should note. In most of the machines, by using the ball bearings, the sliding friction is replaced by rolling friction. So the ball bearings you have seen, small bolts will be there, and there will be wheels also. So by fixing that bolts inside the wheels, we get ball bearings that will avoid or that will reduce the friction. Friction also wears out of the soles of shoes. In the shoes, what happens? The soles will be, after continuous running or walking, etc., soles get weared out. Is it not? That is a disadvantage. So for racing purpose or rock ice, specially designed shoes are to be used. You might have heard about spike shoes, especially in a match like football. They use spike shoes, or running also. Running race, they use spike shoes because that gives more friction. By that friction, you can run faster. For example, these are some of the shoes. This is a ladies type, where there will be a spike here and there will be wheels here. And this has got more friction. The purpose of this type of shoes is having more friction. This is also a running or a athletic shoe. Okay, you can see the soles. These soles will have what is called corrugations. Why it is made? That is just to have more grip on the ground. That is called sports shoes. Of course, you are all experienced about that. You know better than that, better than me in this case, okay? Because you are using it daily, and you know the advantages and disadvantages also. Okay, so these are some of the interesting things which you should note. Now let us come to one more topic called pressure. So this pressure is a very interesting thing again. It is nothing but the force per unit area is called pressure. Thrust per area. So pressure P is equal to F is force, A is area. So what do you mean by that? More is the force, other word is thrust. More is the force or thrust, more will be the pressure. And if the less will be the area, more will be the pressure. More will be the area, lesser will be the pressure. So, this is a very interesting experiment or activity you can try. So, just see this figure now. On the basis of this figure, we will do one activity here. So, the force acting upon the surface of a body perpendicular to it is called as thrust. Okay. A small wooden board of size 10, 10, 1 is taken with 4 nails fixed to each corner. So, this is 10 by 10 and the thickness is 1 centimeter and 4 nails are fixed to the corner. Okay. So, a tray is filled with a sand to a depth of about 6 centimeters. So, this is a tray and the depth of the sand is about 6 centimeters. Okay. So, this is kept on that and a tray filled with the sand to a depth of about 6 centimeters. Now, the wooden board is placed in the sand with the pointed side of the nail head facing downwards. And you have to keep about 500 grams of weight is to be kept on the board with the nail up to which the penetrate into the sand is to be observed. So, here, so this is the tray with sand. This is the sand we are taking and this is the wooden board with the nails here. And you have to mark to which depth it goes. So, this is a weight of about 500 grams is to be kept on the wooden board. And you must see how much deep it goes. I think you can make out. Suppose you have a wooden board with nails and keep it on sand, it goes inside. Na? You have to observe how much deep it goes. Suppose if you change the nails with its sharp edges down like this, what will happen? We observe that the depth will be more in this case. So, these nails will go deeper compared to the first one. So, that is what you observe. Okay. So, now the wooden board is to be placed on the sand with the pointed side of the nails facing downwards and same weight on the board. So, pointed nails on the downwards. First case, this type, head was down. Now it is tip should be down. So, what do you observe now? So, I think you are clear. This wooden board with the 4 nails, sand with sand, tray with sand of 6 centimeters sand and a weight of 500 grams is kept. Okay. In the first case, say nail up and we see that depth into which it goes. In second case, with the pointed side down, you must see how much deep it goes. Okay. Now, what you observe, we find that the penetration is more in the second case. Second case means pointed nails. And what do you observe? What is the conclusion we get? Action of the given thrust depends on the area of the surface. More the area, lesser is the pressure. Lesser the area, more is the pressure. So, what is pressure? Thrust on unit area is called pressure. Pressure is equal to thrust by area. It is measured by unit Newton meter per second square. It is also called Pascal. Why it is called Pascal? Named after a French scientist called Pascal. Okay, so how do you define 1 Pascal? If a force of 1 Newton, a thrust of 1 Newton acts on a body of 1 square meter area, then that pressure is called 1 Pascal. We call it usually as 1 PA. PA means Pascal. 1 Pascal is equal to 1 Newton of thrust by 1 meter square area. Okay, here if you reduce the area, pressure will be more. If you increase the area, pressure will be less. Similarly, if you increase the thrust, pressure will be more. If you decrease the thrust, pressure will be less. So that is what is called as pressure. Now it has got a very good number of applications. And let us see some of the applications. Cutting tools like knives and axes have sharp edges because the thrust will be more and pressure will be less. When a thrust is more, pressure will be more, and hence the force acting on a smaller area. If you want to cut a vegetable, if the knife is sharp, can cut more vegetables. The knife is not sharp, it will cut less vegetables, or you want more time for that. Okay, you might have seen the welding machines, or you might have seen how the blades are sharpened. So axes are used for cutting wood and all, is it not? It is very sharp in nature. The sharpness because to have more pressure. And one more application is foundations of buildings and dams especially. The foundation is larger in area because it has to collect lot of water will be collected. Because of collecting more water, the pressure will be more, and therefore dams will have the bottom with the strong foundation or a large foundation. And trucks and vehicles used to carry heavy loads have much wider tires. Even tires of the trucks also will be, the tires will be very strong and bigger in size. You might have seen some trucks having 16 tires, 32 tires and so on. Is it not? Because it has to withstand the heavy loads. For a case of heavy loads, we want wider tires. And this is Blaise Pascal, is a French scientist who discovered this formula for pressure. He applied this law of pressure for solids, liquids and gases, and is a very genius scientist, and that is why the name for the unit is given as Pascal. He did a lot of experiments with liquids especially. And one more application is army truck. This is what is called as tankers. See the tires here, more number of tires, because they have to carry some 1,000 tons. They have to carry a person, they have to carry guns and barrels and so many things. Therefore they use, you can see this chain here, continuous chain is used. This is the chain. You might have seen what is called as Hitachi, just like your bulldozer. Okay, for leveling of lands and all, the bigger one is called Hitachi. Just also has got a chain links like that. Why it is there? Because it has got more tires here, and to withstand the pressure, the chains are used. So these are the very interesting experiments or applications of pressures. Now let us see some home assignments. Why does a fast moving car slow down when the engine is switched off? Second, why do you slip when you step on a banana peel? This is one common thing we experience. Why are tires, not type, please make it as tires. Tires of automobiles threaded, and define pressure and state the SI unit of pressure. Why shoulder bags are provided with the broad straps? You know, your school carrying bag will have broad straps. Why it is like that? So try to answer this question. Come prepared. Okay, thank you.